Welcome to My Long Island TV. From Manhasset to Montauk, we have traveled our communities to bring you the following events. I'm your host, Waldo Cabrera. My Long Island TV starts now. David Rothenberg is a man who has had a myriad of successes in the theater, for social justice, and for serving the less fortunate. You might know him as the founder of the Fortune Society.
So I wrote this book. I swim at the Y on 14th Street in Manhattan, and a group of us sit around like this afterwards, and you may be shocked to learn I was telling a story, and this woman said, why don't you stop telling these stories and write them down? And I said, who would care? And she said, I would. I'm a literary agent. You write it, I'll represent you. So I wrote it, she represented me, and Applause published it, and that brought me here tonight. So thank you for justifying my existence. I'm 79, but if you say you're 79, everybody thinks you're very old. If you say you're in your 80th year, they applaud. So I'm in my 80th year. And you didn't applaud. When I was in high school, I saw a movie called All About Eve. And I wanted to be in that world. They were all in the theater, and they were smart and they were sophisticated. I didn't know what they did for a living, but I wanted to be around them. One of the things I was told is if you're working in a field that you want, make yourself indispensable. Don't complain about the hours. There's always another envelope to fill, and to know everything that's going on. And I was hired for the summer, and in the fall they couldn't get rid of me because I knew where everything was. And suddenly I'm flying to Italy and London to see shows and working with Charles Boyer and Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor and Betty Davis, and my life had changed dramatically. The reason I'm telling you this story about Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, besides the fact it's a good name to drop, is that while I was in love with the theater and I did like them and working with them was exciting, it was really a horrible existence because the crowds were everywhere. I'm certainly in awe of talent, more than celebrity. When I worked with Betty Davis, I was in awe of her talent. With Elizabeth Taylor, her talent and her beauty, the obsession with celebrity is just incredible, and anybody can be a celebrity. And there's fewer newspapers, and there's much more television, and of course, all the new gadgets has redefined what public imaging is about. I wouldn't know what to do if I went back into the business now. I'm in Italy, and I said, if I come back to America, I want to work on the kind of theater that matters to me. Then I read the script for a play called Fortune in Men's Eyes, and I didn't know anything about prison. What I knew about prison was the old movies. But this was a play about a kid who got raped his first night in jail, and I thought, this is all different and new to me. And this was the 60s. If some of you remember the 60s, when you didn't have to apologize for caring. I had been involved in the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement, and here was a group of people who were invisible to the public and had real needs and were not able to, guys coming out of prison couldn't find jobs, were denied housing. It was almost a setup to go back into prison. And I realized the hypocrisy of our society in dealing with guys coming out. As one guy, Larry White, says, when you get through a situation like that, to endure it, that you put on coats, jackets to learn how to survive in that prison culture. But when they open the doors and they let you out, nobody tells you how to take off the coats and learn how to survive and function out here. And so guys come out in a rage because of what's been done to them in the name of the people. When the Fortune Society started, I was getting a lot of mail from inmates and from Attica, and when it jumped off, I was on the short list. They wanted observers to come in during the negotiation, and two of the inmate leaders had been in correspondence with me, and so I ended up on the list. Agreed to go to Attica, went up there with Kenny Jackson and Mel Rivers, and then suddenly you're no longer a social critic. Then you're in the yard with inmates who were rioting, the hostages, the guns pointing out for them, and you know it's a different ball game. Retirement in New York City is a full-time job. I'm here. I wrote a book, and I'm here, and tomorrow I have two more like this, and yesterday I was upstate New York. Retirement is exhausting.